maybe introduce myself meanwhile. So my name is Anna. You cannot see it in the Zoom because I have this Toloka Academy. My name is Anna, and I'm the manager for corporate education in Toloka. I'm in charge of holding such events, educational events. And with me today is Daria Baidakova. She is our director of educational programs in Toloka. And she will conduct our presentation today, and she will also launch a project. We will show you a live demonstration of an image classification. So I think that maybe Daria, you would like to say also hello and share your screen.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Anna, for introducing me. Thank you all very much for coming. It's a great pleasure to have you here. So Toloka 101 is our regular event where we talk with our new requesters and existing requesters, and where we try to give a very short overview of Toloka and also show you a demo of the platform and maybe answer any additional questions. So I hope you'll find this webinar useful. Let me just share my screen really quick. And I think I'll start, Anna. What do you think?
Yep. Yes, it's already 5 minutes. I think we can start.
All right, then. So, well, welcome again. So our agenda for today is basically, I'll spend, I think, around 10 minutes talking about what Toloka is for those who might not know us very well. And then I'm going to spend another 10 minutes on showing you a demo. And then we want to leave another 10 minutes for a Q&A session. So let's start. As Anna introduced us, we are both from education team, and basically our whole goal is to, teach and popularize crowdsourcing as a primary method for collecting and labeling the data. So before I start, I think I'll just run a poll really quick, asking you whether you have labeled Toloka before or not. Please answer it right now. I want to see who do we have here, and whether anyone have tried. I see an answer no. Yes, so we have 50-50 right now. All right, so I think let's not stop here. Let's move on, but it's good to know that some of you guys don't know Toloka and some of you have tried, so I'll be trying to, to please both of you. So let me just start with some little history. So we all know that basically AI as an industry is based on 3 pillars. So one is the algorithms, another one is hardware, and the third one is data. And what we know right now is that basically the models are available in the internet thanks to PyTorch and Tensor and stuff. And also computational facilities are also available for any engineer that needs it on the internet. However, there is a problem with the data, with the really clean and reliable data for different algorithms. And we know that majority of ML-based solutions, whether we are talking about search or voice or self-driving or something much more practical, for example, such as music apps or some eats apps, they all need a lot of human labeled data to sustain and update their algorithms. And very often this human labeled data is needed at a very large scale and at a very constant basis. So the data is really needed at every single step of ML production pipeline, whether we need to train those algorithms, whether we need to validate how the algorithms is going to perform in real life, or whether we need to retrain it. And the state of technology is such that, of course, some data can be synthesized, yes, but majority of the data still needs a lot of human labeling. And that's where Toloka basically comes in. So Toloka, as most of you might know, is a crowdsourcing platform. It's a two-sided market. So on one side, we have researchers, we have data engineers, we have the analysts, and we have pretty much anyone or managers, like those who need data and mostly on constant basis. And on another side, we have Tolokers, as we call them. Those are like the people who execute very small and routine tasks in order to complete a very high level problem. So this is the essence of crowdsourcing and Toloka, which lies between requesters and Tolokers. So Toloka is actually one of the most, I think, like efficient, and we know efficient crowdsourcing platforms. So first, of course, it provides you an opportunity for scalability, just because that we have Talokers located all over the world, and you can, for example, label a very small amount of data, and if you want to expand, it's no problem. You can, expand to different markets or just in volumes. The speed is also very high, just because of the availability of different performers that we have on the platform. And of course, we also have different instruments for the quality of the data labeled. And also we have like a special product that I'm going to show you later that guarantees a high quality overall of the labeling, which is one of the most important aspects of the whole data labeling process. And last but not least, of course, crowdsourcing as a whole is a very cost-efficient way to label the data. You can set your own price, or you can, have the guidelines. However, overall, it's still a very cost-effective way to label and get the data on a large scale. So Toloka really does have a lot of years of experience. We've been working with different companies and teams that use Toloka for improving their algorithms, either for search relevance or self-driving cars, or maps, or music, or voice, or e-commerce, or anything that you see on the screen, or something more, because we know that in the 21st century, definitely most of the products are using machine learning and they need the data. So we have experience in all of those domains. And if you're coming from a company of this industry or a startup, you can just reach out and say that you want to talk or something. And also, of course, Toloka is one of the unique platforms due to its Toloka, or as we call, performer distribution. We have people from all over the world. Really, you can see right now where we have most Tolokers and where we have less. However, if you have a requester that needs a certain language, for example, we recently worked with the conference on world machine translations. They needed very rare languages, such as the language which was spoken in Iceland, for example. We were able to get that language too. So those are the real life cases that we have on Toloka. Those are just one, a number of a very large number of different examples. You can see different, tasks that we can do for either text or image or videos or anything else. The list goes on and on. And of course, Toloka also, if you used it, you might have seen, has many different filters for selecting performers. It has a lot of settings for the quality control, and also it has different ways to aggregate the results. So if you have any questions about those, I'll be taking them in our Q&A session. So we all might know, if you used crowdsourcing platform, that usually takes a lot of steps to set up a project. First of all, you have to decompose a task. You have to spend some time on this. You have to write the instructions. You have to create an interface, which usually takes some coding. You also have to think about your quality control. You have to think about how to set up an actual a fair pricing, and then you have to also know how to aggregate the results. And also it takes a lot of time, as we know from our experience, for the project maintenance, and sometimes it even takes sometimes for the onboarding. So what I wanted to share with you tonight is that we recently launched a service which is called Toloka app. You can see it inside our platform. I'll also show this during our demo. So Toloka App Services really takes away most of those steps. We take it under the hood. So what you have to do left is just to think how to decompose a task into several different tasks, and also how to write an instruction. So pretty much that's it. And we know that usually requesters spend the most amount of time for building the interface or configuring different like quality controls. Here we take it all from you. We do it under the hood. We do it with our own assessors and talkers, and then we get you the results. I'll show you how it works, and I really encourage you to use this kind of service if you need those tasks. So what I wanted to maybe note that those tasks are a bit less customized. However, they guarantee you very high quality just because we take care of it. So let me just go through 3 different use cases very quickly before I get into the demo. What I wanted to emphasize is that Toloka Apps has the experts, and it has our own crowd underneath the hood. So you shouldn't be really worried about the quality, and that's how we get you the best quality possible. So here are the 3 case studies. So the first case study is coming from our client, which is an online travel agency. They just basically want to verify whether there is a price information on the website, whether there's a hotel information and location. And as you can see here, they managed to label 2,000 labels and web pages in 5 hours. And the quality was really high, like 94%. Another case is a company which does retail in consumer electronics. So basically what they have to do, they have to update their online catalog constantly, because they want to, of course, please their customers all the time and show them their like relevant information. And as you can see here, these are like the number of hours, around 11. They spent on 12,000 labels, and the quality was also like impeccably high. And the last case study that I really briefly wanted to cover before I show you the demo is a case study for a mobile phone manufacturer company. They wanted to outline different gestures because they had some kind of like an assistant that was reading those kind of gestures. And this was about outlining objects with the bounding boxes. And here you can see they reached a really high quality with our service, and it took them a little bit less than 2 days, just because it's bounding boxes and not classification, but it's still a really high result for the quality and for the timing. So what I also wanted to say that in Toloka, we have Toloka Academy, and Toloka 101 is one of our projects. So our goal is to give you as much of expertise, as much of knowledge, and give you many different use cases. You can come to our webinars or tutorials, or we have a course on Coursera if you're interested. And our teachers are the people who've been working in crowdsourcing for many years. And we do a lot to take part in different data science conferences, to publish our works. So I hope you find like our content useful. So without further ado, let me just jump into the demo, because, talking a lot, it might be not as interesting as showing you the real life use case. So let me just share my screen and show you how Toloka looks like. And after that, we will be taking questions. So I'll be sharing my whole desktop. Hold on. All right. Do you see my screen all right? Yep.
Yes.
All right, cool. So this is how Toloka looks like for the requesters. Like for performers, it looks a bit different because there is a number of different tasks there that they have to complete. For requester, it looks like this. So this is my dashboard with a number of different projects. If I click on another page, I'll see the users, the performers that have been working on my projects from different countries, as you can see with their flags. I can also see like their skills, like how much money they spend, and so on and so forth. And also we have messages from Talokers. This is a really good and really interesting feature, because we know that requesters and Talokers can communicate between each other if a project is not clear, or or if you launch a new project, you can of course communicate with your Talokers and notify them. All right, so let's go and set up an apps projects, the apps that I've been talking about for the past, I think, 15 minutes. So if you go onto the main dashboard on the left, you can see apps project beta, and this is completely true. We recently launched it, so it may take some time in order to develop it. Right now we are testing a lot. However, we have several projects that we can run in apps. So let's create a project. I'll just do it like in a separate tab. So for apps, we have different templates, as I would say. You can see here the whole list. So it would be like classification or bounding boxes, or like different content classification also. And after that, you'll have like your regular Toloka. So we will be concentrating on apps today. I'll show you how to do the image classification in apps. So let's select this template, and it's going to be really easy. In this template, you can see like how it works. Like you can see the general information, and you can also see how much budget it's going to take for you. So I'm going to choose an app. So because, for example, as a requester, I really don't want to think about setting up an interface. I don't want to be thinking about like the quality control rules. I want to be set up. I want everything simple. So, okay, so image classification will work for me. So that's how we set it up. First, I have to write an application name. And in this project, let me just, because we don't have a lot of time, I'll just take a classification between cats and dogs. Like I have a data set, I think like with 100 images of different cats and dogs, and I want performers to say who is it. Of course, it's very demonstrative case. Like probably if you need Toloka for work, you're not going to be classifying cats and dogs. However, like for a demo, it should work, and it's also pretty, by the way. I like cats and dogs too. So let me just write an application name. There is a question whether there are multiple classes. No, because I know my data set already, and I'll also say no because there are no images without cats and dogs in my data sets. So next I have to set up the instructions. I'll just say look at the picture and say whether it's a cat or a dog. Of course, like okay, sorry. Well, of course, in real life, you'll have to elaborate a bit more on instructions, but like for a demo, it's okay. Then I have to say what kind of classes I have. So I have cats. And let's say the description cat is a cat. I know that this might be a bit too simple, but still. And another class will be a dog. So I'll put a dog here. Well, in real life, of course, you have to write like a definition, like what a dog is or something much more complicated. I don't have any more classes in my data set, so I'll move on. And they want to have a link to a simple image and for me to specify the class. So I'll just open up my data set really quickly. I like in the links I've integrated for myself, but this is a really bad practice. Don't repeat it. The classes that I have in the images, so we can try it here if you want to. So this is an image, and I'll just say that this is a dog. And why? Because there is a dog. Let's just say. Another example that I have to provide, I'll take a cat. So I'll just take another link with the cat. Let's just check. Yep, it's a cat. So, okay. So those examples are used for like our managers and talkers to, to create the control tasks, to create like a nice instructions. So they'll be using this. And that's it basically. So now I have to just do a final check. Everything seems right. That's what I wrote. I have said that like I have written an instruction. I have wrote what kind of classes I have, and I have added the different examples of how to label my data set basically. So that's it. I'm creating a project. And the last step that I have to do is to create a batch. So I basically have to upload my data set. So I'll just do November 11. This is the name for the batch. Now I have to upload the file. This is a cats and dogs. And maybe you can see here that in my file, I only have the links to the images, and that's it. There's nothing really complicated. You just need to have like working links for the data that that the performers have to annotate. So everything should be fine. I'll create a batch now. So this is how the batch looks like. Now you have to remember to press play. This is over here where I'm hovering my thing. This is where we see launch. I press play. Now I see how much it's going to, to charge me, and then I'll check out and launch. All right, so in apps, there is this thing that before the data will be labeled, our moderators, like our internal moderators, will be looking at the projects. They'll have to check it, and then they'll launch it. So my data set is really small. My project is very simple. So probably it's going to take them around like a couple of hours to check it. So we don't have a couple of hours. So let me just show you like exactly the same project I launched yesterday. It was November 11th. And it is done already. So I just wanted to show you, and you can see on the right, how much time it took. It took actually around like hour and a half. So let me just show you like how the results look here. You can see a code, but also if you scroll down, you can see like an actual result, a cat, and you can see a photo, and you can go through, this is a dog, it's cute. You can go through every single like file and check it out, or of course you can download the results as a whole and then implement it into your human in the loop pipelines. Of course, in Toloka we have an API, so when you try and when you want to implement it in your production, it's totally possible. So, and you can also rate the labeling if you want to give us some feedback. So this is how our apps looks like. Again, like it's pretty easy, so I encourage you to try. Let me just go back to my slides really quickly and show you that we have a promo code for you before we go into our Q&A. This is the promo code. Please write it down. I think we are giving out like $20 for labeling, right, Anna?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Yeah, so you can, like, whenever you register, or if you register, just go into your profile, implement this promo code, take any, for example, like take any data sets from our knowledge base. Anna, if you don't mind, can you please send the link of our knowledge base to the chat in Zoom, so that like if you want to just try, go to our knowledge base, take an example of a data set and run apps, see how it works. And we have a Slack channel if you have like any questions in between. So this was the talk. I am ready to take your questions. Please feel free to answer them. Like, we don't have to have 2 minutes. We can finish a bit later. So it's fine. You can unmute yourself if you want to, or, you can write it in the chat. That's perfectly fine. Let's wait for a couple of minutes for you to write the questions.
And meanwhile, as we were waiting for maybe some questions, I will also would like to say that everyone will receive a follow-up email with the promo code that Daria showed you 1 minute ago, with the instructions and the link where you can, which you can visit and launch your project. So if you didn't write down the promo code, or you didn't remember, or you don't remember it, don't worry, you will receive it.
Yeah, I can also write it here.
Yes, also.
Oh, thanks, Amina. It's so nice. Saying that it was a good presentation. Thank you so much. So it is a question about quality control. So in Toloka apps, you don't need to even think about quality control because we take it on your site. If you're using like a full customized solution where you have to create your own quality controls, we have different techniques. And the most, of course, popular one is golden sets or honeypots, as we call them. Those are the tasks that you know as a requester the answers to in advance, like you label them in advance, and then you mix them with a data set, like with a real data set. So it really looks like a honeypot. So if and performer doesn't know about those things. So performer will be like labeling, and then he'll come across a honeypot. And if he gives you a wrong answer, then of course, like you'll ban him. Or if he's constantly giving you wrong answers, then probably something wrong with the performer. If he's giving you a good answers, then you can keep him on your project. So thanks so much, Anna, for sending the link to the knowledge base with the quality controls. Yes, definitely you can read it over there. But in general, like honeypots is the most, I would say, reliable way to look for, for lazy performers or for cheaters, because whenever we talk about like crowdsourcing platform, and especially like money people get paid there, of course the incentives can be different. So you always have to check the people who you're working with, especially that they're all anonymous, they're all sitting in different time zones, you don't know them. Of course you have to check and apply different quality controls. Thanks for the question. All right, I think we have like another question from Andre. Thank you. So there's a question from Andre. Do you offer the service to companies dealing with the data secured by privacy agreements, say all kind of, I'm not sure what is PII data, but of course, like we sign a separate contract with companies trying to protect their privacy and their data. We can talk about it later with you. If you don't mind, maybe sharing your email address like with me, like in the private conversation here, and then we can get back to you and, tell you how we protect the data. Like Toloka works with the major companies worldwide, not only, in the Eastern Hemisphere, but also in the West, in the US, and we take care a lot about the privacy. We are ISO certified. So of course, I'm sure we can help you there. Just leave me your email and then we'll get back to you, okay? Thanks. Cool. All right. So before we get other questions, I just wanted maybe to ask you to fill out the form, like the poll really quickly. There are only 3 questions. Whether you found this webinar useful or demo useful, it's going to help us, to make it like more useful for you. This is like Toloka 101 is our like recent development. I think we have conducted around like 5 Toloka 101. So we want to know whether this is really useful for our community or not. Like, what should we do? And of course, you can reach out to us. We are really open to any discussions, either in Slack, LinkedIn, email, anything. All right, so this was a very introductory meeting. As we have emphasized, thank you so much for a very positive feedback. what we have next is that we have a knowledge base. We'll send a follow-up with the promo codes, and we'll make sure to send in the follow-up any other much useful details and materials. And if you have more advanced questions, please feel free, to join our Slack. We have our crowd solutions architects there. Those are the people who specialize in crowdsourcing, for many years, and they advise our top clients. So please, ask your questions there. For sure, it will not be neglected, and we will answer it. So Anna, tell me, what should we do? Should we wait for another couple of minutes, or I think we're just running late?
Yes, I think we can. I mean, I don't see any other questions. We can, of course, wait 1 minute more too, if anyone wants to unmute themselves and ask a question. But if not, I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. I would like to thank Daria for this great talk. And I hope that we will see you in our next educational webinars, that you will join our Slack channel. And of course, one more time, I'm repeating, if you have any questions, just write us in the Slack channel and we will answer them. So Daria, if you want, you can say also a goodbye.
Oh, of course. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate your time. So let's stay in touch. Thank you. Thank you for saying thank you in the chat. All right. See you in Slack then. Thank you very much.